Now the pressure's not on the tyres, pressure's on me. Not gonna make the corner. I'm excited. Out in the bush this morning in the LM106 after the revamped front end and the Kumhos. The MT71s. We've run them on the Land Cruiser 79 series. We did about 4,000 Ks on them. I'm excited to have them on this and give them a test. 12 pound in these. This is a lighter truck. We've got less air in them. They're gonna work better. Now, only being locked in the front end, I still feel that this is a more capable truck off-road than the 79. With its reduction gears and very good limited slip rear diff, we're gonna see these perform really well. My intention was to do the track that we did in this vehicle not long ago while it had the razors on it and just do a little comparison on 2 or 3 of the climbs. But where we've aired down here, I look to my left and there's quite a nice little climb here. We might give this a go. The tyres have just come off the freeway, so they're still warm. It's probably taken me about 8-10 minutes to air down, so there still should be a bit of heat in them. A decent little number of rocks here, but if and when we get up this section here, we go in between the rock and the tree up there. There's a tree to winch off if need be. Let's see how they go. Just sitting there on 12 pound. You can see it wants to bag. In my earlier video, you would have seen the prep that went into the front end to give us a bit more clearance. So what I've brought along with us today, because I didn't get a chance to get in there, is the drag link. So the cups, I've got a whole bag here of non-genuine drag link cups and the components needed inside the drag link ends. And I've also got genuine cups as well. So these are the 2 half cups that connect to the J-arm and the pitman arm on your drag link. We've brought a drop drag link also in case this one binds up. I can change it. A J-arm. I'm not sure of the J-arm on this car, if it's been changed, if the ball's worn. I really haven't gone into that part of the car, so we've got it if we need it. You can see why these are so popular. Best mountain goat ever built, I say. Those ultimate springs were springs I ran when I was 21. Ken from Ultimate Springs, he used to make the best suspension, and those springs are working perfect. The other couple of things that I need to make sure is okay is that I don't run out of slip on that front shaft. I can see there that I've pushed all the grease back through, which means it potentially has bottomed out. I've got to sort that out. Also now at full lock, the tyres touch the springs for the offset of this wheel and the width of this tyre. And I also think I felt it touch there, so we may need to still trim them back. Now 33, 10.5, 15, 285, 75, 16. On paper, they're the same height, and a Maxxis is a big shoe for what it is. We'll just stick the level on it. So if I hold that level with the top of the tread and go across, there's pretty much nothing in it. So same height, we're not gaining any height, but the footprint is probably 1 inch or so wider, where we might come into some problems on that front guard unflared. While that wheel's off, we've got some borrowed parts to try, so we're going to remove that front shock. Now just quietly, this experiment may pay off. So they're a longer shock. Now we've come up 50 mil, so we need 50 mil more in our shock length to have the same droop we had prior to the mod. So these will work. All right, here's the test. Touching at the bottom, touching at the top, and there's a gap. There's clearly separation. Not much, but enough not to be legal. So we're gonna have to probably get Roadrunner to send us up some flares. But we'll keep moving. We'll go and do the track now that we did when this had the razors on it. Here's an example of the 4.7 reduction gear and what an asset they are, not only for climbing. Have a look at the engine braking here. I'm not touching this brake pedal. Such control. And this is on a little 2.8 diesel motor. So good. A 79 Eater. This thing is off-road. You can see the drag link. It could bind when it goes back up against the U-bolt because of the angle it's on. I'm getting plenty of down travel. The braided extended lines are helping. I've still got a little bit of yoke before it starts showing the spline. Springs are working well. Just the other thing I want to see, not going to be able to get in there. The shock's totally closed. So now that shock is limiting the up travel, which is probably not a good thing. But if I had have left the old shocks on, that would be hitting the side step. So I've got to set up a bump stop now. I've got to extend that bump stop. I've got to put like a 50mm block on it so that the bump stop hits a little bit before the shock. But you can see that spring, it's what the Ultimate Springs used to do. They used to love it. You can maybe see now why I needed that spacer off Bullet Truck's spare rear shaft. That was the old ride height. Now we've gained 40 or so mil, so I was hoping that it would be enough, but 25 mil is not even going to be enough. It's not even going to bring me back to where I was. We established that that tail shaft spacer won't give me enough length in the yoke. So this is a 40mm one. We're going to try this one for the run. It's still a bit shy of where we were before, but it's going to be a lot better. We can go out on this run. Now I do have longer tail shafts, just not easily accessible right now. They're way at the back there, and I can't move this Hilux at the moment. But my intention with this truck, as I did on Bullet Truck, is to build an 80 series high pinion center for it and alleviate all this angle. Now this was supposed to be a drop in and take a flexi shot sort of hole. Turned out way too deep for that on a leaf sprung truck. No spotter for guidance. I'm not sure why I shuffled across to the left. I feel that maybe it took some of the angle out. I had a gut feeling it'd be okay and that I would pick up that driver's front. So I go in, fishing for when I feel that the front wheel has finished declining into the hole, and then once I find it hitting, then I know I'm safe and it'll pick up and come out. Maybe the tray saved me, or maybe the tray held me back. That was a close one. Smelled a bit smoky when I got out to get the camera just there. I wonder if didn't like being on that angle for the 10 or so seconds we were on it. I feel that these are a lot better tyre than the 79 showed us they can be. I feel that the 285, 75, 16s was probably just a touch undersized for the big cruiser. A 315 would have given us a lot more ground clearance in those videos we've just published, and given the tyre that little bit more justice to be able to touch the ground and get traction. So this is one of the hills when we brought the dual cab out that time with Rochelle and the kids to get some firewood. This is the hill that really surprised Shell on how capable pretty much a standard looking car is. But it didn't have water on that section or running down this rock. Now that's going to be a little bit different to compare apples for apples. The Razor's doing it in quite dry condition. So here we are on the Razors on this same hill, a little bit drier. No front bar or winch, so we're quite a bit lighter in the front end, we're quite a bit lower too. In the rear, no toolbox full of tools, just that little bit of firewood. So we're considerably lighter overall. That's still an awesome tyre to be able to walk up that kind of an obstacle.
Like you said, too easy, huh?
Wet rock like this and mud just before a climb, that's a whole different other beast. About 2 inches of mud up here, still running in off the top of the hill. Now the pressure's not on the tyres, pressure's on me. Apart from a couple of spots where I did have to go over 1200 RPM, it basically idled the whole way up. The tyres did an exceptional job. Go the Kumhos! So I did have to give it a little bit more right foot in that 1 or 2 sort of spots that I did. I felt like I needed momentum just for that spot, but a whole different track condition. The Kumhos, they did awesome. A little spot where I felt the back turn, that was probably the LSD having a little rest. A spot we've been to before, testing out suspension, getting measurements, working out shock lengths, and most importantly, avoiding that tree. Again, showing why a solid axle front Hilux, the early girls, are so sought after for their off-road ability. Definitely got to cut that side step back. Next thing I wanted to test was that front slip yoke, so I needed to pick something that I knew was maybe a touch difficult for the LM106, something that wasn't just going to crawl up, something it was going to struggle to get its front up so that I could get that front diff to walk out. Now trying to climb up something like that, the front tends to want to walk away, and that's when that slip. So this is full flex trying to go up. The diff walks forward, and that's generally when your slip falls out, but you can see all the grease. It's definitely compressing all the way, so I am going to have to sort that out. I wanted to have a look at one of the tracks that we bring bullet truck to. Didn't you need to go home? You had a nice easy morning, some good testing, a couple of nice rock ledges. What's wrong with you? That's so muddy on the passenger side. Yes, so back out. We'll leave this for a day when we have got bullet truck here. Next week's episode's a ripper. We head back in. I just can't help myself sometimes. We do 2 inches, we break an axle, we still don't get to our hill. And have a look at this, the heartbreak of walking out to this early one morning. What happened? That only just shy of a 33-inch tyre, and that had enough traction to break a stock Hilux CV. I've never broken a CV on 33s in my life. I just don't know how I'm going to find this track. The 79's got a winch but stock tyres, so that's a no. The 4Runner, that's a no. Full body, no winch, panel damage for sure. And Shell's Fortuna, well, we all know the answer to that one. So 2 out of 3 times we failed in the Hilux. Let's see if the trusty old TDR can get us to the spot. So at least I can have a look at the track. All new rear tyre too. There was a track around this, but what would Nicholas think? Amazing how much easier it is getting places with a bike. But this is the track. So this is not even the start of it. Then this is the garden. Oh, these rocks all move. Not bad for 3-wheel drive. So I hope you enjoyed the footage of the dual cab in here early on. And then we found the hill. How good was that hill? There's got to be door damage between those two. And I tell you what, I'm walking up it and there's mold on the rocks. I can't wait to get bullet truck down here. I hope there's enough time in between the kids racing before the Eastern Creek show. And as always, thanks for watching.